about our last session.
Great unifier
What's that?
is the relic. It's one of it.
Why do we need the relic?
Because there's a interdimensional god or something coming to take over the land.
The great demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of lesser demons too. Baby demons. Demonites.
The relic of Cantark to save all of humanity.
The relic of Cantar.
The humans had the top part, but they lost it.
Now we have that.
Yeah, we found it.
Found it.
And then there's the one that the
place.
dwarves have. The part the dwarves have is guarded by a dragon, and then we don't know what the elves are.
So,
Alright, so
when we fight the dragon.
You were called, a mysterious voice entered your mind, told you of a prophecy, and foretells the coming of the great demon. Learned that the artifacts you need to create the ancient relic, you banished the demon away, was split up into 3 pieces, and you headed to the human city of Silver Lake and met the king and saved him from an assassination attempt from the Dawn. And he told you that the Dawn had stolen the relic, but when you asked the Dawn says, we tried to steal it, but we couldn't get out of the cave. They were suffering from a little bit of cave madness. So you went to the cave looking for the relic, was suffering a little bit of cave madness yourselves. I believe a rat tried to eat your stew as well. And then you came across a troll, and you defeated the troll swiftly. You discovered that the troll had swallowed a red orb, and you felt the orb's power. Isha picked it up in a silver cloth, wrapped it, and put it in her bag.
And she was very weird about it, and it's in my note.
As you're all standing there, covered in troll guts, picking up the gold and jewels that had spilled from its stomach, you're still dizzy, confused, suffering from your cave madness. You hear the voice once again emanating in your head. You have completed the first leg of your journey. The prophecy foretold it so. Combine the unifier, or the great demon approaches. Seek his name. And you are left with silence echoing throughout the cavern. The voice was stronger than when you first heard it in Big Town, or before it was just kind of a whisper in your mind, but now permeates through your brain.
It is that strange voice again.
Did he seem more, how would I say, wicked this time?
There was a difference in the voice. It is interesting. The power of demons grows, and so does the power of this voice. Very strange indeed.
Yeah, I was kind of coming to a similar conclusion. Is there a chance we're all being duped right now?
It is a heavy, heavy chance.
Lyle sits down and scrapes some guts of the creature off, enters his meditative state where he stares at his crystal.
Maybe we can do some more research on this relic. Make sure assembling this thing is the right thing to be doing.
Well, certainly, in our hands, this relic is in its best state and condition. We just need to be careful who we share our information with and or who we let touch the things, don't you think?
I agree.
Who should we not
don't
let?
you want to touch it?
Oh, I don't know. Strangers, I suppose?
We have it now, so maybe he's right. Maybe we should investigate it currently.
So all of you guys heard that voice too?
It was louder this time for me. Rather rude.
Well, we have the first part, and we've gotten this far. Which part do we take on next?
We talk to a dragon or we talk to the elves, as I recall, are our choice.
I'd rather not see that dragon again. Or at least no time soon.
That may unavoidably be in our future.
Well, let's just hold it off a couple more days then. I
All
like
right.
to procrastinate.
Maybe we should start heading towards the Gold Forest. Maybe this will be proof enough the elves will want to work with us. What do you think, Lisha?
Anything to get out of this miserable place. May we please try to ascend? Monsieur Hedgemage, I apologize. You may need to meditate later. I'm going to freak out. if we stay here.
Lead the way. I'm still turned around.
You step out of the cave and the sunlight hits your eyes. Hurts a little after being in the darkness.
I've got all this rat jerky.
I take one off your hands. While I take one from you, I lean in close and I said, "Did you happen to catch the face? Did you see the look on our elven friend's face when she got her hands on that sphere?"
I did not. What did it look like?
At the time, I couldn't quite place it. After hearing that voice try to speak to us again, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this whole thing.
I've had a bad feeling from the get-go. Suddenly a voice calls to us after we've all suddenly in town together. Very strange indeed. We must keep our wits about us.
But I am not sure what our play is other than to play the role we've been handed.
Clearly have been picked to assemble this thing for somebody. My only fear is when we get it into the next hands, whose hands those are.
Well, we'll just have to keep our eye out.
You approach the entrance to the Golden Forest through twisting pathway through caverns and rivers and deep twisted forests. Come across the ancient elven city of Gold Leaf in the Gold Leaf Forest. And you are led there by Isha. She knows the path. Elves have a tendency to be very guarded about their territory and are very fortified, living very isolated deep within the forest. You approach the giant ornate gates of elven make, and you are stopped by the guards there. Why is there a dwarf and human amongst us? How did they arrive here into the heart of our society?
Peace with you, brother. I bring them as guests. We are on an important journey. Isha holds up customary elven hand symbol, and I bring them here in good faith, and I return to the flock with grave news of the visions of the rock.
Ah, Isha, you know better than to bring the likes of them into our city.
I do not do so lightly, nor would I under any other circumstance that weren't quite as disastrous. Trust me, I want them here even less than you do.
Be careful. You know how the council is. They will not shine favor upon you for this transgression.
My friends know if they even a single foot out of line, I will kill them myself.
Then be off with you. Open the gate! And you hear a trumpet fanfare. There's an ethereal glow shining through the gate as it opens inward. You are enveloped in the shining golden glow. Feel this power that emanates to the air. Elves walk around like they're floating on a cloud, like they're proper, and everybody staring down their noses at you, especially those of you that are elves.
My problem with elves, I think they're better than everybody else, and yet they hide away and ignore the problem. You can clearly see I don't talk shit about humans, I talk shit about elves.
Isha kind of picks up on this, and over her shoulder to Eldarine, she says, "You know, brother, I could make a home here too."
This is why I live between the two, what you jokingly call the Bronze Forest.
So how are we walking right now? Is it like down a road?
You are standing just in front of the entry gates, and there is a open entry courtyards, and it leads off the city street, but you are on the main road, and you hear the gates slowly close behind
So
you.
just as we're walking, Hildy's going to kind of walk towards the side away from everyone and look over at Isha and say, "I'm walking outside the lines." And then like wave at her to like do something.
Isha doesn't think this is funny, and she stops dead in her tracks, and she turns her body toward Hildy and slowly starts to go for her bow.
I just
And
stand there.
All right now, ladies. I don't know what exactly is going on here, but we need to stay on program.
Hildy, would you mind rejoining the group?
I will follow where you go.
This way. Isha's going to lead them through the dirt paths toward where the Gold Leaf Council sits.
As you are leading your party down the main road, you start to see elves giving you an eye, and you keep walking, and they keep appearing, and more eyes are on you. Before you know it, you are surrounded, and they have hands on Lyle, Hildy, and Eldarine, and they are all starting to apprehend you. As we have interlopers in the capital. Interlopers in the capital.
Wait, let me show you my bag. Let me show you what's in my bag.
They start confiscating your bag, and they start taking your weapon.
The moment they start touching me, I want to cast a spell. And as they reach out to touch me, as they reach out to grab me, Lyle goes to pull away. And as he pulls away, his form just fades out of existence. And I've cast invisible. And I've hoped to, now that I'm invisible in the commotion, I can stay out of bumping into anybody.
You slip out from the guards' clutches and you turn invisible, and now you are standing on the outskirts of commotion. What do the rest of you do?
Peace, everyone. Please just stay calm. My brethren, my sisters, and my brothers would, of course, not hurt you without due cause, so please let them do their processes as they need to.
Not so tight, but in Elvish. You guys hold on to me. I guess I don't resist, seeing as how I'm in the belly of the beast.
Hildy?
I'm just gonna let it happen.
Okay. Well,
But I'm gonna like Derek the guy like hardcore the whole time.
they start trying to take your things from you, but you're holding on to them real tight, and like they physically can't. And so they give up and have just resorted to surrounding you with pure number. A tall, snobby looking elf comes up to Isha, and you recognize this man to be the high school jock who never left town and is now the head of the local police force. Isha, you know better than to bring the likes of dwarves, humans. Come now.
Please, Chief, you know I would never bring such whispers in Elvish scum into our town unless it was of the most dire circumstances. I have news for the council, as will be evidenced by my compatriots and some items of note. We mean no harm, and in fact, I'm only here for the preservation of Gold Leaf. You have to understand that. You know me. You know me. You know how I feel.
Roll charisma.
Yay.
This would be a lot of paperwork, and you know how much I enjoy paperwork.
Good sarcasm, Keithar. By the sense of humor. Anyway, we're here on urgent matters. Time is of the essence, if you don't mind.
If your destination is to be the council, then I shall expedite this process so we can get on with our day.
Well, I owe you one. And she winks and kind of leans in a little bit.
He puts you in handcuffs as well, and now you are all being detained and dragged to the Gold Leaf Council. Lila, are you following?
Yeah, I'm definitely following. Like, I was ready to okay, I'm gonna have to pick a convenient time to unspell to slide back in with the group. But now I am going to very gingerly follow them and figure out where they're being locked up and pay attention to where keys go and that sort of game.
We head to the Gold Leaf Council, and you are all brought before the council. The head is Wittenbowl, King Wittenbowl. And Wittenbowl says, "Ugh, what filth! Why have you brought these to me? Why aren't they in prison? Why aren't they in line for the gallows? Why have you sullied the sanctity of this council with the likes of humans and dwarves?"
If it please the council, I would love to explain after I am removed from these handcuffs, as I was so brutally detained.
So it is you who is responsible for bringing the likes of this scum into our council.
Yes, it is true, High Lord Wittenbowl, but please understand, I bring news of the visions of the rot. I have evidence to show where these premonitions come from and how we may deter the demolition of our perfect society.
You sound paranoid. There is no great rot. What evidence do you have?
My compatriot brother Fairbrook here has decapitated a demon head in his bag. I'd like to show you if you would please remove these handcuffs. How dare
Killed
you?
a troll.
A guard starts dumping out all of Eldarine's things.
The humans were more hospitable than this, I say out loud.
In the chaos, can I go into Isha's bag and swoop the orb?
It's the most important thing to me in this world right now. I'd love to roll some sort of sensing it, feeling it, a little twitch, trying to notice that it's happening.
In the commotion, as he is starting to dump out Eldarine's bag, the troll head spills onto the floor and starts rolling towards you. And now there's a little bit of demon kind of residue that has gotten on you, but that you haven't really noticed.
That got on me.
But you get the orb and you obtain the orb and you slip it and it becomes invisible with you.
Will you please remove my handcuffs? Of all people, you know I'm not a threat to this court. I'm sworn to protect you. 8.
But you are not here as a member of the Gold Leaf Guard. You are here for crimes of bringing interlopers into our capital. Now, what is this of demons? Bring that to me. And a guard picks up the demon head and presents it to Wittenbull. This is your proof of the return of the Great Rot? A single demon head? There are no demons. Their numbers are too small.
I swear to you, please, I have more proof. I was visited by visions and a voice which led me to...
Oh, you're hearing voices now.
I have it right here in my bag, one of the great 3 relics of the Great Unifier. Please, if you'll search me, you'll find the Scarlet Orb that was used to seal the Great Demon back 300 years ago.
It's true. We helped them recover it.
They start dumping out your bag, and the orb is not to be found. Well,
just panicking and stuttering and stammering.
What did you do with the orb?
It was just here. I know it
Who
was here.
stole the orb?
So at that
I look
point,
around frantically.
At that point, Lyle, while you guys were arguing and stuff, he has stared at the room and figured out the most dramatic location to stand, so to make the largest impact on his audience, which is the council. And he is in a pose right now, invisible in the middle of the room, and he is holding the cloth on the orb, and he lets the cloth fall off and slowly releases the spell. So first this shining scarlet orb appears in the middle of the room, and then slowly falls away to show his hand, and then slowly falls away to show him like standing triumphantly with this sphere in one hand and his cane in the other hand, and he strikes his cane to the ground and he says, "Do you know what this is?"
Because you were holding the orb, roll 3 Constitution rolls.
Oh shit!
Okay, the first one's a 9,
Okay.
and then an 8,
Uh-huh.
and then an 11.
You take 8 damage, half to 4.
Just holding it, just like, ugh!
You take the cloth off this orb and you're making contact with it. You feel its energy start to surge through you, and which drops your invisibility. It happenstance at the same time where you're going to reveal yourself. And you feel it, and it's making all of your muscles contract, and you feel the power of the demons coursing through your vein, and you get a vision of another plane, and you feel yourself in darkness, and then clouds start to roll into your vision, and then there's a crash as thunder leaps across the sky, and it gets denser and denser, and you see the face of the great demon, the same face that you saw in the mosaic on the ground at Big Town. And then you snap back into reality, and you are standing in the middle of the Gold Leaf Council. As you reveal yourself, the red orb emanates, and it envelops the entire room with red light, and it knocks some people to the ground just by pure shock and awe of witnessing this great power be revealed in the middle of the room. It just appeared, and everybody's just like, oh, gasp.
Yes.
Nobody really answers you.
This has been entrusted to us by Silver Lake, and they would not do that if it was not a dire situation. Do you not agree? And I look up to the leader of the council. What's his title again?
High Lord King Emperor Widowbow. Roll charisma.
Do you think it is false now what your countrymen say to you? And I hold up the orb.
Gathers himself from the shock of witnessing the relic, and he looks around the room, and that relic shouldn't be in the hands of the likes of you. It should be entrusted to us. We made it. It's ours. Somebody get that orb.
I lift up my hammer and I say, "If anyone touches that orb, I'm going to break your ankles." And I'll use intimidation. And that'll be 12.
All the elven guards around you stay down. They're at a disadvantage. They know that you're going to swing your hammer down.
Look at this party, united of all the races. Do you not see that this is bigger than your one court?
From some voice in your head, From
No.
some prophecy? I cannot allow the likes of humans to possess such a powerful item. I cannot and will not allow it.
Then entrust it to me. I, who have served you faithfully for 200 years, entrust it to me.
And not all of us are human. And I like take off my hood finally, and I've got like not full pointed ears, but not like.
You look familiar.
My grandmother was Eliza Fairbrook. Not to spoil the family secret, but my grandma was Dutch. Oh, and then I'm gonna use my owl to help me.
Did she go to Big Town University?
Yes, she spent a few semesters there before she dropped out.
You look at him, his cheekbones are very similar to yours. If the humans are to be so foolish as to entrust their relic to you, so be it. But I will have no part in your fantasy of prophecies and demons.
A look of like just total disbelief and heartbreak crosses Isha's face, and a single tear rolls down her cheek.
Escort them from the city. Make sure that they take their foolishness long and far from here.
I pick up the rag and wrap the ball back in it. In a pained motion, you see Lyle like stretching his hand, feels where the orb ripped him.
You are being escorted out of the city. As you are leaving, you feel the same eyes upon you, the news about why you were there and your preaching of the Great Rot's return has reached the ear of the common folk. And Isha, you feel as someone drops a note into your bag, and you are pushed out of the city gates. It says, "So we hear your plea. We have witnessed the return of the Great Rot. Widowbow is no leader of ours."
What did I tell you? Even worse than the humans, huh? At least they listen to us. At least the humans end up reasoning.
Worse than I thought they were going to be. I fear our plans may be stifled right here.
Monsieur Hedge Mage, if you ever rifle through my things again, you won't wake up from the next camp. Do you understand me?
He smiles a real sly smile, and he reaches and he feels where the orb is in his bag and smiles back.
I read the note and I present it to the group. You see, the High Lord is not himself. Something has corrupted his mind, or he is not the man I thought he was. It seems that there are intelligent and sophisticated elves like myself who remain here in Golden Leaf.
Are you sure you're telling the truth? I thought it was going to be no problem to walk into here, to get counsel, to get court. Nobody seemed to take kind to you. Is there something you're not telling us?
I've never been treated in such a despicable way. Handcuffed by my own side piece? This is a very embarrassing day for me.
Who do you think that note is from? How do we get in contact?
I don't know. I'm used to operating above ground in the full view of the public. I'm not familiar with.
I think I could kind of mix in some hunting and tracking here.
We'll track it down to its last location.
You know that there's various elven camps around the outskirting areas of the city. You follow some clues. There's some cryptic letters in the note, and then you turn the note over and you breathe on it and go,
Thought I smelled lemon juice and pine. This is how you make invisibility.
You find a rather large encampment. Just a bunch of elves from all walks of life, the highborn and the lowborn, and they seem to be gathering in secret. It is nighttime, and they're gathering, and you are intercepted by a couple of scouts, and then, "It was you, the foretellers of the Great Rot's return. Surely you have witnessed the blight in our city. What has happened to our leadership? These aren't the elves that we knew. They're not real elves. I bet they were all replaced by aliens. I hear they're doing it for the money. So we never went to the moon."
That wizard's from the moon.
A veritable gypsy camp of elves that you're in, and they're all rallying together, and the leader, Patricia, welcomes you and says, "Great adventurers, heroes from the prophecy. Your telling was foretold to us. We have had this feeling that the magic has been receding, and we hear this voice. The voice has told us to recover the relic and to help you recover the relic. But whenever we bring our concerns to the council, we are turned away. We are treated as lesser creatures than them. They find themselves corrupted by power. But fear not, for you have arrived at an opportune time. For tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. We retake our city. We have plan. We have map. And we are going to infiltrate the Gold Leaf Council and recover the relic, for we cannot allow the return of the Great Rot."
Finally, some sense in Gold Leaf. Thank you, Patricia.
There hasn't been any sense here for many a moon. ever since these demons, and she shows you her collection of heads. She has about 10 on pikes.
Ludorin's very impressed. Wow, that's excellent.
Their numbers are growing. Day by day passes, there's more rumblings of demons in our wood. The orcs are becoming bolder, the paths becoming more dangerous. But where are we to go if we fear the city that we call home? The demon's power is so great that it corrupts our greatest mind. Will you help us in our plight?
For once, Isha looks around at her companions and considers how they might feel.
This is a trail I am already walking.
I mean, I guess so. If overthrowing a government is absolutely necessary. That man did seem quite unreasonable, but I have to say I don't particularly want to meddle that deeply into elven affairs.
Patricia, is there a way a covert mission might be successful?
It's the only shot we got. Diplomacy has failed. Now all we have left is to take what we want with the strength of our will.
Isha's wrapped up in it. She loves anything that's elven superiority because she has to feel superior to now the other people who feel superior. She shouts, "Hear, hear," in Elvish.
Much time do we have to prepare?
Not much. Here's the details. And she pulls down, a screen that's got a bunch of notes and pins with yarn on them. And it's a very elaborate thing. They've been planning this for months. And you're gathered around Ocean's 11 styles. Here's the deal. We've got to distract the guards. We've got to get over to the walls. We've got to infiltrate the palace. And we've got to secure the council room. For in the council room is where they keep their greatest treasure. We have sent our best runners, our best fighters. We've got people on the inside. We just need the muscle in case something goes south. Any question before we take the night? Oh!
So we're going tonight.
I guess so.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm going to use this time giving all of my knowledge as a senior member of the Gold Leaf Guard, the routes, the pathways, the patrol, anything else, any other information, secret entrances and stuff, any information that might be helpful, I'll give to him.
Roll intelligence.
Isha sucks, y'all. I got a 2.
It's all old information. We've been gone for months. No,
You give them all this information from what you can remember from your time as the Gold Leaf Guard. But I'm going to give you scare because you came back to your home and you're scared and you're not as confident as you would be in your home. That doesn't feel like home anymore.
Are there some demon bodies lying around? I read a book by the great Archer Armalist about using different sinews for bow, so I'm going to take this time to try to make bow better and sinew for the string. That would be a 4.
Yeah, you broke it. Yeah, I'm going to give you a -1 to your bow.
Oh, I broke the bow itself.
Yeah, you were restringing it and you put a little crack in it. You pull it back full draw and you don't feel like you should pull it back as far as you would too, or else it might. You guys are disbanded into groups. Everybody's got a small party. Patricia draws you around the city, and Isha, you guide them to your old post. When you first started at the guard, this was your favorite post to hang out at. You know that there are perfect little footholds on a certain part of the wall can help you get up. You start to see the guards patrolling back and forth, and there's a guard at the top of the tower, and there's another guard walking back and forth on top of the wall.
Are we trying to sneak or are we just going to attack?
You asking me? Isha is shaken to her core. She's betrayed and her whole lifestyle is turned upside down. I think that would put some vinegar in her. So she's going to push up and see if she can't subdue the guards by force. My fists are also a precise weapon. I'm a trained martial artist.
Your hands are registered weapons?
She's got like fanged gauntlets on.
The dead of night, walk up. You go right up the first guard's neck and you give him a hi, and the guard grabs onto your wrist, flips you over their shoulder, and you are lying with your back onto the ground. You guys see this. What do you do?
I'll attack the guard that's standing and kind of just like throw my hammer or the hammerhead towards the guard.
You throw your hammer at the guard and it hits him in the helmet, but it kind of just grazes it, and you ring his bell a little bit, and with a loud clang, Another guard that is a little farther away hears this and turns around. Huh? What's going on over there?
As he's saying that, I do a volley to him with my bow, and my owl is going to attack him at the same time.
What's going on? And you hit him right in the shoulder.
An owl just comes and fucking scratches his face.
Oh, what's going on? We're under attack.
In the head.
I'm going to cast my little cantripy ability, my minor curse. Allergies. Name a type of plant or animal. Owl. Your target is mildly allergic to it as long as the curse is active. Symptoms may include sneezing, itching, rash, red eyes. My hope is that mid him starting to yell, he starts sneezing instead.
You hear him yelling, and then he's being attacked by the owl, and you give him an allergy, and he starts coughing and can't get the words out, and you hear his throat starting to close up. Under attack. But you cannot hear him over the screech of the owl. The guard is gonna take his halberd and bring it down onto Isha. He brings it down, and you roll out of the way, and his halberd gets stuck in the dirt. Come back here, you! And then the other guard is going to start coming over and swinging at Hildy. He comes over with his halberd and starts swinging at you, and he comes to the side of you and hits you wham, like right in the hip. He comes and he hits you wham, and he knocks you to the ground right where Isha was. And then the guard up on the tower sees all this commotion. What's going on down there? And pulls his bow and fires at Isha, who is scurrying out of the way. He misses. You scurry away, and you where your feet were, you see arrows like you guys have created quite a commotion. And
I'm going to swerve up to a knee, pull my bow, and try to return fire as quick as possible to the archer in the tower.
oh yeah, you hit him right in between the eyes. And he goes down. As you see him go down, you see his counterpart patrolling the wall, and there's another archer that is running.
I'm shooting that archer.
Yeah, you hit him right in the neck. It's real gory. As you paint the ramparts red, this blood.
I thought the blood would be gold. Look, we all bleed the same color.
And there are two guards still on the ground, readying their halberds.
So the one that's right above me, I'm going to use my hammer to hit, I guess, like in the knees or whatever. Oh, come on. Crit fail.
You hit him, you kind of miss and grang his knees, and you hear another clang as it bounces off his armor, and he comes down, and he swings his axe with the full force against your chest plate. You take 13 damage, but you get your armor. And you hear, Hildy cry out in pain as the guard brings the full force of his strength down onto her chest plate.
I'm going to target the one that I think looks the most abused with my wound spell. Curse. They're curses. So Lyle reaches out with his magics, and you see the blackness in his crystal on his cane start to twirl, and he reaches out with his curse and deals 7 damage to them.
You see the other guard ready to bring his weapon down onto Hildy as well, and you cause a great wound with your invisible greatsword power, and you open a gaseous wound, and he collapses down. And then the other guy who just hit Hildy is gonna hit Hildy again. 11 damage. Hildy is the iron sword on the blacksmith's forge, and it's just being pounded into the ground.
Can I just try to wound the next guy? Like I'm just there slinging spells over Hildy, slowly walking forward, trying to battle them back from her. So it happens, but I get to pick one of these negatives. I cause an undesired side effect, but it deals 4 damage to them, but also does an undesired side effect.
Yeah, you're opening up this gaseous wound, but he is towering over Hildy. Hildy should make a
Even with my 3 constitution, I got a 6.
Okay, you take 5 damage, no armor, as it starts making you physically sick. The gore is too much as Lyle comes through and is casting his wound and opening up, basically ripping these guys apart. And they're bleeding all over you. And even for a dwarf with their strong constitution cannot handle this much guts and bloodshed. And you think elves kind of smell weird too.
I'm just gonna shoot the one that's attacking Hildy. The one that was like towering over. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Ooh, for 4.
You can either choose to kill the guy and he's gonna fall on top of Hildy, or you can not shoot.
Can I shoot him and then command my owl to grab his hair and pull him away from Hildy? I'm gonna give him the call. I'm gonna say, give him a number 3. He knows what. I just like shoot at the frickin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and the bird have this. This isn't the first time we've done this before.
Yeah, you shoot him and it's a direct hit, and you see him start to fall over on top of Hildy, but your owl comes and grabs him by the hair and pulls him. So he falls.
It's like my owl puts him in a little haymaker.
And as you guys are collecting yourselves, Patricia comes up and says, "Oh my goodness, they had families, assumably, but I guess it is the price that we must pay to free ourselves from this corruption."
It's us today or demons tomorrow.
I go over to Hildy and I'm like, now, do you need this? And I offer you my healing potion.
No, thank you. I have one.
All right.
They're healing. I'm gonna command my owl to scout ahead to see if anybody's coming for us.
Your owl returns to you, and they're converging on this location. The guard is on high alert, and they're aware that there are people trying to infiltrate the city.
It's not looking good. They're
How do you-
gonna bail on us fast.
How do you feel, Hildy? Can you run?
Feel great. I get up and I start twirling my fucking hammer over my head. Yeah, let's go. Like, is there a gate or something? So yeah, can I lift the gate? On a 10 plus, I get to choose 2. So I'll say that it doesn't take very long and it doesn't make a lot of noise.
Isha brings you around to the gate and shows you the best place to hold it, where you take all the weight off the hinges so it doesn't creak. And in no time at all, you get the gate open. And as you open the gate and you cross through into the city, you see Patricia jump down from the wall on the other side and then turns and looks as you guys are walking through the front door.
Howdy.
Silly elves, why didn't you go through the gate?
Quick, we must hurry. The guards will be upon us shortly. And she goes and starts scampering her way, making way through the city towards Gold Leaf Palace.
I can make one of us invisible. Who is the least hideable?
We all look at Hildy.
Pull like my scarf or whatever up over my head. I'll try to hide my human features, and maybe we can make Hildy disappear. Is that all right with you? And I look at Hildy.
That sounds fun. I just chill.
Now, if you make too much noise or hit anybody with a hammer, you will become visible again. And I reach out and I touch you and you disappear. I'll keep my head low. You'll have to take the lead.
Take my cloak off and I'm gonna turn it inside out, and it's got like a lighter yellow color as opposed to like the green close to blacker color from the side that I've been wearing.
Okay, it just says an attack breaks it.
Oh, cool. So even if I'm heard, it doesn't break it. I'm just heard.
Isha will pull up her hood as well, and with Patricia, lead the group through from shadow to corner and using signals to try to avoid main thoroughfares as much as possible.
You come across a building and there are guards coming around the corner, and you go into the shadows and you press yourself up against the wall, and the guards march past and like, I think they're at the south gate. They don't notice everyone else, but Lyle, who has been lagging a little bit behind, says, are you there? Get back to your quarters immediately. It's curfew. Come on now.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best Elvish accent. I live just around the corner. I can get there quite quickly on my own. Please don't waste your time with me. I will head directly home.
Very well. On your way.
Thank you, brother.
Quickly. There are ruffians about.
Oh dear, no. Not our sacred city. And I head back.
As you peer around the corner to the center of town that precedes the Golden Leaf Palace, you see forces starting to amass.
I say we take the long way around.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many more times I can sweet talk my way into being ill.
Well, your disguise is good, but you've got to take off the hat. I've told you.
Well, but then they'll see my ears.
Yes, but you look like a wizard and they're looking for a wizard.
Look, this bowler hat that I wear just happens to be the attire of the traditional hedgemay. I guess he puts down the bowler hat and pulls out a Panama hat. It's like almost the same. Yeah, is that better? Does this work for you?
Still, I think we should take the long way.
Not noticing where Hildy is because she is invisible, she starts to get a little distracted. She's still a little queasy from being covered in elven guard blood. And you hear a guard party coming around the corner, and they are marching and they march right into Hildy, and you hear their armors clash and clang, and there's a big commotion, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then they look up and they see the party, and there's like, "You there! Halt! Seize them!"
We're on our way home.
And the guards start approaching you quickly to come and detain you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna volley at them.
They're approaching, and you fire off a few arrows, but they just plink, 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 and bounce right off of their armor.
Perhaps we should just run.
The interlopers! Attack!
Can we just run?
So Lyle and Eldrin escape as they come, and they're surrounding you.
I'm gonna attack back, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting hit right now, so hammer time. First person I see.
You knock his block off, and you break your invisibility, and you peer, and you swing your hammer, and it just makes contact and knocks their head clean off.
I want to make the use of that shocking situation. Hildy has just appeared and decapitated a guy, and move quickly to kind of pull Hildy and try to catch up with Eldarine and Lyle.
Yeah, you pull Hildy to her feet, and you push her out of the danger, but that leaves you open to attack. As you're hit by the sword, out of the shadows comes rebels to your aid, and they start distracting guards, and they pull you aside, and they badly injured run over and catch up with your party, and you guys are making your way, and you have reached entrance of the Gold Leaf Palace. Very surreal sight to see this modern metropolis of an elven city on fire and starting to crumble as more and more dissenters are starting to combat with the structured establishment.
The gold comes from the leaves and the trees. They naturally are a kind of gold. So this building, although it is wood, it has the same melting point as gold.
I suppose you could lead us faster than anybody to this treasure room or what have you. I'm looking at Isha.
The sacred relics were always off limits to the guard. I stood outside, but I don't know my way in. Patricia, is there a plan for this?
I thought we were gonna take over the council. I thought that was the plan.
I was hoping that more of my compatriots would be here, but it seems that we are the first to arrive. But I fear the situation is deteriorating quickly. We must move swiftly.
If we get in there and we don't have the men to take the council, we need to take the relic. Run. That's why we're here.
Are you willing to help us do that despite not being able to overthrow this government?
If we are not able to save our city, then I suppose we could at least save the world.
Well said.
She starts climbing up the palace walls.
Yeah, there are skylights on the roof. Maybe we can rappel down into some sort of treasure room.
Can I use my kick? Can I kick the door down?
Elven architecture has no match for experienced dwarven craftsmen as yourself. Their locks are primitive, and you snark at anything that security-wise that elves have to offer. They don't know how to make locks. They don't know. These aren't good hinges. You enter through the palace entrance, and you do hear patrols of guards, but there is nobody in your current vicinity. King Wittenbow kicks through the council doors. You see as this green emerald glow starts to envelop the entire room, quite similar to the red glow that the orb gives off. And you hear him shouting, "You cannot take this power from me! The relic is mine! It's mine! You can't have it!" A wave of green energy blasts throughout the entry hall. Everybody jumps out of the way, and Isha is hit for this full brunt of the relic's energy for 6 damage, no armor.
That surprises Lyle. You can't see his face because you're facing the other way, but he has a look of surprise.
As she is recovering off the ground, she spits some blood, wipes her face, and she looks at the Wittenbow and says, "You have put curse on our people and a disgrace on our name."
You see as he reached out to you, and the green glow is so bright that you could not make it out, but as he brings his hand aside, you see a bracelet that is on his arm that is glowing green, and you take this to be the relic.
I'm going to cast Stumble. This is a 3rd level curse. The target appears to become intoxicated. Everything it holds gains the clumsy tag, and it struggles to accomplish ordinary tasks. And everything it does has clumsy tackles. So that's basically like a -1 to doing everything.
I am going to use the range portion of my hammer and try to knock at least his arm, or aim for the arm or the hand that he's holding the relic.
You throw your hammer and it makes contact with the relic. You feel a wave of energy course through your weapon.
I'm gonna do something completely different. I'm gonna volley and attack him with my bow and arrow.
You fire a bunch of arrows at him, but he's using the relic to create a ward around him to deflect one, but one gets through, nicks him.
Funny. Haha! Gotcha. Nobody hurts my friends.
You look around and you see Eldarine hiding behind a pillar that he is firing from. You notice that there are 3 large pillars in this entryway, and they are you start to see stress fractures in them from the power coming from the relic. And with that, he raises his arms again and he's like, power! But he falls backwards because he's a little bit clumsy, and the relic slams and hits the ground, and you feel the earthquake.
I'm going to shoot him in his arms. I'm going to aim for his arm.
Yeah, you go and you hit him in the hand, and you knock his little finger off. And he's like,
Oh, it's
oh!
not the pinky.
I missed.
But it's a good idea, Brother Fairbrook, and Isha will knock several arrows. So in response to Eldarine shooting off his pinky on the bracelet hand, I'm going to use Blot Out the Sun to knock several arrows, all aimed at, knowing that it might not be dealing as critical damage as head and torso, but trying to pin the arm down as much as possible.
You hit him in the forearm and pin his arm to the ground. So it pierces all the way through, and
So he's stuck to the ground right now?
uh-huh.
And then I'm going to come in with that last hit on the arm with his arm, like as he's pulling it away, and try to just...
Hildy comes down and swings her hammer onto the arm, and it breaks the arrow that is pinning him to the ground.
I'm going to cast Mesmerize. The target is fascinated by you and will not break eye contact with you while this curse is in place. You do not need to maintain eye contact with the target.
You approach Wittenbow and you stare deeply into his eyes. You feel the energy, the relic's power, and you're holding his gaze, and he is starting to calm down, but you're starting to feel that same feeling that you felt when you held the orbs.
Grab the relic off his wrist before he breaks out of my hold.
11 plus whatever it will be to grab that.
You just grab it?
Yeah, just grab the bracelet off him.
You pull onto the bracelet and you rip it off his arm, and you feel the power, and you are staring into a plane, and you see into this plane, and it is of the forest. It is calm and serene, and there is life. There is plants growing, and then you start to see it start to decay and wither away. The great rot that has been described in Elven legend. And you come to, and now you're standing there over the dying body of the king. He is very badly injured and has been corrupted. And he looks up to you, Isha, save us. And you see the glimpse of his eye, the man that you once knew, the familiar face of the king who is normally gracious and understanding. And you watch as the relic is removed from his body, the corruption leave his body, and you hear the eruption of the rebels and the fighting and the destruction. The sounds cease, and you see the rubble falling from the pillars, and it has stopped moving. It's in free fall. And you notice that time has stopped once again, and you hear the voice in your head. The second piece has been recovered. You are on your way. The prophecy will be fulfilled.
Whose prophecy?
Seek my name.
What's your name?
Jeffrey,
You
Marcus,
said my name this time.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Gregory.
Bartholomew.
Jose.
Bahamut,
Caesar.
Beelzebub.
And you are all
Bob.
standing in the entrance hall over the dead
Pamela,
body of
Pamela.
the king, the Gold Leaf Palace. What do you do? You are now in possession of.
I think we should get the Sam hell out of here as quickly as possibly can.
Isha doesn't miss this opportunity and kneels to the king and closes his eyes with her thumbs and kisses him on the forehead.
Right after she does that, I am going to loot the body.
Isha would never allow that. She'd pull an arrow right up to your throat the second you got close. I kind of see it where like Hildy's just getting into the good parts at just as the arrow is coming to the neck. Isha won't push it further if Hildy doesn't move.
As this is happening, the guards come in and shout, "They've killed the king!"
This is what I was trying to avoid. Now, can we please move along?
Fleeing the palace, you are being barraged by arrows from the most precise elven archers, the King's Guard. Yeah, you fire back arrows at them and meet them midair. Pew! So you guys are scurrying out of the palace, going through the commotion and making your way. You guys get separated, and you each need to find your way through. You're in the Elven Heart, and their finest archers are out on patrol. You guys all split ways, and then you come together again, and you are nearing the gate for the exit of the city, and you see that it is locked down. Even if you went to go bend bars and lift gates, you couldn't get there because there are just so many guards on patrol at the current moment.
Are there any horses? 10.
There are horses.
How many?
4.
Guys, let's take the horses and make a break for it. Is there anything you could do about that door? I look at you, the wizard.
I don't have any. Most of my short-term magic focuses on a living target. This is more Hildy's territory.
I can lift it, but we have to get through them all.
Can we rig some sort of like explosive arrows from the adventuring gear? I and Isha one, and I have one. Okay, on my signal, we're gonna charge, and then me and you have to time it. We're gonna have to shoot one. You're gonna shoot one. If that doesn't do it, I'm gonna shoot the second one, and then we're gonna have to like break through in a thing of fire. So everybody, hold on to your horses.
The horses aren't ours.
We're taking these horses, and we're going.
No, horse theft is punishable by death.
Yeah, death is coming no matter what, so I wouldn't worry about that. You're not stealing them, I'm stealing them. So this isn't stealing. We're just going to walk these horses away from the danger. We're going to rescue these horses away from the danger.
Wait,
These horses need to be freed. They cannot be in this city.
The king's last command to me was to make sure that we save the world. And I think the best way to do that is if I make sure you all get free with the relics. I'll hold them off. You
No.
All right.
Get on the horse.
I can't steal a horse, but I'll hold them off. Okay, you just get free.
What do you mean you can't steal a horse? Get on the damn horse. I'm going to cast a spell, and you're going to forget at what moment you were learned about the legality of horse theft. And this is my highest level spell. Let's see how it goes. It's the 6.
Oh no!
You forget about the legalities of horses. You forget what horses are.
Now, when you
Isha,
say
listen to me.
horse, what
These-
exactly are you referring to?
These are city horses. You are city guard. The king put you in charge of saving the city and the world. So these are your horses as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, literally that one is my horse as part of my duty with the guard.
You read that one. I wasn't going to write that one. I'll read this one then.
Now, when you say ride, are you referring to like a bicycle?
The horse.
Perhaps a boat?
You're going to grab on to the horse. You're going to hold on to the saddles. You're going to have to take Lyle. Oh my goodness. Can you run? How fast can you run?
Isha mounts one of the horses. Like I said, I'll hold them off. Just get free, okay? And she prematurely fires her explosive arrow at them.
You see as the arrow, its fuse is lit as a little sparkler flying across the sky, and it goes and bam, and it hits one of the hinges. But the loud explosion grabs the attention of all the guards, and they're all starting to look around to see where it come from. So, I think it came from over there, over by the stable.
Ride! Fly, you fool!
Instead of aiming at the hinges, I'm going to aim at the guards with the last of my explosive arrows.
You arc the arrow and you time it perfectly, and it drops arcing over, and it's dropping down into the center of the guards, and right before it hits the ground it explodes and goes pa, and scatters shrapnel into all the guards, and they start to disperse from their tight formation.
Hildy, get the other hinge. So now we're all just running.
So we're not
towards
even all the
gate.
horses?
Yeah, we're just gonna run towards the gate.
Lyle, somewhat muddled mind from his own magic spells going awry, turns to see Isha on her horse, and he is dumbfounded. What in all is holy is that divine creature you are resting upon? It is though someone has taken a bovine and stretched it.
Lyle, run. Monsieur, you can meet Sakina later. Please, make the exit.
I'm going to use Constitution. Basically, I'm just going to crouch down or just run as fast as I can, like tackling or going through the crowd and just taking the arrows as I go, with my arms tucked in, so it's just hitting my fucking armor.
Eldarine and Hildy are making a mad dash for the gate, and they're covered by Isha, and Lyle is standing there amused by this horse.
And then when we get to the gate, I'm going to provide cover fire for him from there.
Yeah, you guys make it to the gate. One of the hinges is blown off, and you're starting to be surrounded by men, but there's a lot of commotion thanks to Isha's cover fire, and some of the rebels have started to join in to part in the fighting.
I shoot back at the guards.
You're firing out at these guards. They're backing off. They can't seem to get close, so it gives Hildy time. You approach the door with the busted hinge, and you just push on it, and it just flies off and flies out into...
Let's go. And I just start walking out. I don't even look back.
Hildy is exiting the city. Eldarine is providing cover fire from the gate side. What are Lyle and Isha?
Lyle turns and sees the fighting, the arrows flying back and forth. And he says, well, this seems like we've gotten ourselves in a mighty dangerous situation. And I'm going to cast invisibility.
You cast invisibility on yourself, and it's just the top half.
Hey, that's smaller target.
Yeah, so you're just a pair of legs.
Lyle totally
running
does
around.
not notice. He's still in a fog, and he just casually strolls, like when an old man strolls into traffic. He just is strolling through the battlefield.
The guards are running back and forth through your path, and there's a rain of arrows. Eldarine can't see. You make it to the gate, and you walk past Eldarine, and Eldarine sees just a pair pinstripe pants.
Yeah.
And a cane hobbling past.
And they stop and turn towards him, and he tips his hat, but she can't see it. And then the two legs turn back and keep walking.
Lyle, Eldarine, and Hildy being pursued.
Eldarine is providing cover fire from the gate. The guards, they are focused their attention on the people escaping out the gate.
Then I'm going to ride Sakina over to Eldarine and dismount and say, take her and go, I'll cover your leave. You must save the relics. Do not let them stay here.
I take the reins. I go, where's the wizard?
I saw him walk out of here. I saw half of him walk out of here. I get off the horse and I turn to take over the job of providing cover fire.
Okay, so we hop on the horse.
Half of Lyle is there. You want me to ride this thing? I'm not sure it's safe. Can you trust a creature like...
I said, yes, just get on. I'll tell her what to do.
All right. He hesitantly gets on, but he gets on like he's never been on a horse before. And it's awkward.
I said, Hildy, come on. And I put my hands out for Hildy to hop on the horse. You hopping on the horse?
I'm way ahead of you.
You
I never
ran out?
stopped. I just kept walking, not even fast. I just kept a brisk walk into the forest. You can
So
catch up to me easily.
So I hop on the horse. I whisper to Lyle, you grab her. Isha's got your back turned to us. You know what I mean? She's shooting arrows.
Lyle is in a half daze, and he just reaches over and grabs Isha by the collar, scruff, and pulls.
I just tell the horse, ride fast. Grab the horse rein, and I'm gonna grab Lyle, and then Lyle's gonna grab Leisha. Unexpected.
You're gonna drag a 6'2" woman in heavy armor behind a horse?
The wizard is, yeah.
The wizard is.
Yeah, I was hoping the wizard had something for this.
So I grab her, I try to pull her, and then I lose my grip.
So Eldarine tells the horse to ride fast, and Lyle is hanging off the back of a creature that is unknown to him. He grabs on to Isha and pulls Lyle off of the horse onto the ground. You take 4 ground damage. And then Lyle and Isha roll Defy Danger as the finest elven archers are raining arrows down on your location.
As an arrow pierces into Isha's left part of her chest, she turns back, pushes Lyle as hard as she can away, uses a last explosive arrow, and aims it directly up into the stone-like portcullis of the entrance as one last attempt to cover the escape as she dips into -2 health. To try to explode the wall to cover everyone else leaving.
Roll Dex.
12.
Yeah, you hit it right up, and the explosion is big enough, and it collapses the gate, and the rubble and creates stops the advances of guard.
Realizing that there's no heavy 2 bodies on this horse with me, I quickly turn the horse around to at least try to grab Lyle.
Lyle is
after the
still
explosion.
standing, but he is fucked up. Like those last arrows, it probably broke the invisible spell, and he has like a fucking arrow jabbed in him, and it's like blood coming out of his mouth.
I'm just yelling, Lyle. You probably don't even hear me.
But if I look down and I see Isha, I want to like fucked up. I do want to reach down and like see if she's still breathing, like in my.
Well, let's see. As Isha shoots an exploding arrow, and the rubble is coming down and is about to hit Isha in the head, time stops just for Isha. And you see the massive piece of rubble right in front of your face. The last thing that you see. You don't hear a voice, but you get this feeling, the call of death. And death can be bargained with for a cost. He demands a sacrifice. Roll flat roll.
Flat roll. 3.
You die. You look over, and Isha...
We're just told to save everybody.
Isha's skull is collapsed in, and there is no recovering the body. You see her pinned under pounds and pounds of rubble.
I'm glad I took the relic now. I think Lyle looks down, and that's like a little bit sobering for him, like seeing his friend's head smashed open. And I think he turns back towards Eland, who's riding up, and reaches out for his hand and tries to pull himself up onto the creature.
I'm just gonna use my strength. I'm just gonna grab you, just pull you up, and try to like get the horse to go.
Where's Hildy? She's like out here somewhere beyond.
I made camp.
Okay, so we find you camping like up the road. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I'm just chilling like up the road. I made a fire.
Do we leave? Should we try to take the body with us?
It was under
No, this is an elvish woman just died in our homeland.
You regroup with Hildy.
Do we have to roll to weep?
Roll charisma at the gods.
I guess we just kind of sit. I don't even get off the horse. I'm just gonna stare at the ground at the camp.
I'm gonna slide off the horse and like half fall on the ground and kind of crawl over to the fire and sit in front of it.
I get off the horse and realize I have 2 health points.
Yeah,
I'm suddenly aware of how wounded
I'm
I
very
also
as well.
have 2 health.
suddenly aware of like how wounded I am.
So can we like make camp for the half heal?
Well, you are in the Golden Forest and are the prime suspects in regicide. So the Gold Forest is not a safe location.
Follow me. I know
So
where to
if
go.
you are to make camp here, most likely you're to be come upon by a elven scouting party.
I would like to trailblaze to Eldrin's cabin. It's between here and Silverwood.
Perilous
Silver
journey.
Lake.
You guys make it to Eldrin's cabin on the border of the Gold Forest and Silver Lake. And go heavy thoughts on your mind about the death of your companion, Isha, the elven archer. The task of your quest starts to weigh heavy on your hearts as you place the 2 relics in the center of the cabin and just ponder upon their power. The green and red glows mixing to create a yellowish amber glow of power. And you think about what has transpired, and you're left wondering about the fate of the Gold Forest and the city and the elven capital.